In his 30 years as a pharmacist, Rob Modestino says he's never experienced a drug shortage as bad as what he is seeing right now.
We're not talking about, the rare things that one or two people get. We're talking about blood pressure medication, heart medication, medications that are important to people.
Canada may be holding a card that could shake America's healthcare system. As trade tensions grow, billions of dollars worth of medicines flowing into the US could face new risks. Canada could strengthen and protect its own drug supply, while the US may be left facing shortages that could affect millions of people. Pharmaceutical supply chains between Canada and the United States are facing increased scrutiny as trade tensions continue to affect cross-border commerce. Canada exports billions of dollars in pharmaceutical products to the United States every year. Health Canada maintains a list of critical and vulnerable drugs that could face severe shortages if supply disruptions occur. At the same time, policymakers on both sides of the border are evaluating the consequences of tariffs, export restrictions, and manufacturing concentration within North America's healthcare system. For decades, the pharmaceutical relationship between Canada and the United States has operated largely outside public attention. According to trade data, Canada exports approximately $6 to $7 billion worth of pharmaceutical products to the United States annually. These exports include packaged medicaments, hospital-use drugs, specialty treatments, and pharmaceutical ingredients used throughout the American healthcare network. The significance of these trade flows extends beyond their monetary value. Modern pharmaceutical production is highly concentrated. Many drugs are manufactured in a limited number of facilities, often
Pharmaceutical
located
product
in specific
integrity.
regions. A disruption affecting one manufacturing corridor can rapidly spread through hospitals, pharmacies, and healthcare providers across multiple countries. Health Canada
More than 100 years
tracks this
ago,
risk
Agnes
through what it
MacPhail
calls
put
the
a stake
critical
in the
and
ground
vulnerable
of
drug
Canada's
list.
democracy.
According to Health Canada, the list contains medications that are critical to the health and safety of Canadians and vulnerable to shortage. These products are monitored because interruptions in supply can have significant consequences for patient care. The list includes numerous categories of medicines used in hospitals and emergency treatment settings. Several products have complex manufacturing processes. Others depend on specialized production facilities that cannot be replaced quickly. In many cases, alternative suppliers are limited or unavailable in the short term. The issue of pharmaceutical dependence became more visible during the COVID-19 pandemic. Governments around the world experienced shortages involving medical products, protective equipment, and prescription drugs. Supply chain disruptions revealed how quickly healthcare systems can encounter shortages when production is concentrated among a small number of manufacturers. Health Canada's Drug Shortages Program was developed to identify and respond to these risks. The program monitors shortages and discontinuations affecting pharmaceutical products. Manufacturers are required to report certain shortages, allowing authorities to assess potential impacts and coordinate responses when supply problems emerge. According to Health Canada's 2024-2028 plan to address health product shortages, supply disruptions can result from manufacturing issues, quality control problems, transportation interruptions, natural disasters, geopolitical developments, and sudden increases in demand. The plan states that drug shortages remain a complex global issue. The document outlines federal efforts to improve monitoring, preparedness, and response mechanisms. As of March 2026, concerns surrounding pharmaceutical supply chains are occurring alongside broader trade disputes between Canada and the United States. Economic measures introduced during recent tariff discussions have affected multiple sectors. Analysts have increasingly examined whether pharmaceutical products could become entangled in future trade negotiations. The pharmaceutical sector occupies a distinctive position within international trade. Unlike many consumer products, critical medications cannot always be substituted immediately. Regulatory approvals, manufacturing standards, and production capacity limitations create barriers that prevent rapid replacement of disrupted supplies. Research published in 2024 examining pharmaceutical trade between Canada and the United States highlighted the importance of maintaining stable cross-border supply chains. The study noted that policy changes affecting pharmaceutical imports and exports could have downstream consequences for healthcare access and drug availability. The findings emphasize the interconnected nature of North American pharmaceutical production. Trade data continue to demonstrate the scale of this relationship. United States import statistics show that pharmaceutical products remain among the major categories imported from Canada. These imports support hospitals, pharmacies, healthcare providers, and distribution networks throughout the country. The headline claim regarding 28 critical drugs reflects concerns that have circulated among policymakers and supply chain analysts regarding medicines with limited manufacturing sources. While Canada has not announced restrictions affecting 28 specific medications, experts have repeatedly warned about the vulnerability of products that rely on concentrated production networks. Drug shortages often emerge through a combination of factors rather than a single event. Manufacturing disruptions, quality inspections, transportation delays, shortages of active pharmaceutical ingredients, and unexpected demand increases can occur simultaneously. When these factors affect medicines with few suppliers, shortages can develop rapidly. Health Canada's monitoring framework specifically addresses this challenge. Authorities track products considered both critical and vulnerable because disruptions involving those medicines can create immediate healthcare consequences. The objective is to identify risks before shortages become widespread. In recent years, governments across North America have explored policies aimed at strengthening domestic pharmaceutical production. These discussions intensified after pandemic-era disruptions exposed vulnerabilities in global supply chains. Policymakers have examined strategies involving domestic manufacturing incentives, supply diversification, strategic stockpiles, and expanded monitoring systems. The concentration of pharmaceutical production remains a central concern. Certain injectable medications, antibiotics, anesthetics, and specialized treatments are produced by a small number of facilities worldwide. When one facility experiences operational difficulties, replacement capacity may not be available immediately. Health Canada has repeatedly emphasized the importance of proactive shortage management. The agency's strategy includes collaboration with manufacturers, distributors, healthcare providers, provincial authorities, and international partners. The goal is to maintain continuity of supply for medications considered essential to public health. The agency's shortage response framework also incorporates data collection and transparency measures. Manufacturers are required to provide information regarding actual and anticipated shortages. This reporting system enables regulators and healthcare stakeholders to assess developing risks and coordinate mitigation efforts. As trade discussions continue in 2026, pharmaceutical supply security remains a strategic issue. Access to critical medicines has become increasingly linked to economic policy, industrial capacity, and national preparedness planning. Governments are paying greater attention to sectors that were previously viewed primarily through a commercial lens. The United States and Canada maintain one of the world's largest bilateral trading relationships. Pharmaceutical products represent a small portion of total trade volume, but occupy a disproportionately important role because of their direct connection to healthcare delivery. Even limited disruptions can have consequences extending beyond economic statistics. Health Canada's critical and vulnerable drug framework illustrates how governments are attempting to prepare for these scenarios. Rather than focusing solely on current shortages, the system evaluates medicines that could become difficult to replace if disruptions occur. This approach reflects lessons learned from previous supply chain interruptions. The 2024-2028 Federal Shortage Strategy notes that health product shortages can emerge unexpectedly and may affect patient care, healthcare operations, and treatment availability. The plan outlines efforts to strengthen resilience through monitoring, stakeholder coordination, and supply chain analysis.